Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, as amended on March 28, 2025, this meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy via remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if there are tech problems unless required by law. Viewers can visit the localscene.media/Duxbury, formerly pac-tv, to watch a video replay of this meeting on Duxbury YouTube. Good evening. All right, so we are at the point of the story that we are going to start working on the warrant. Our town manager will be along shortly with copies for people. But in the meantime, Mary has just given us a list of where fiscal is. Mary, did you want to go over that while we're waiting Article 6?
If I could, I have a couple of things to go over with you.
Yes, that'd be great.
So fiscal advisory, so there's Article 6, which is capital over 25,000, and then Article 7, which is capital under 25,000. Those are two warrant articles in the warrant that you guys are going to be reviewing this evening. Fiscal advisory has been going through their process of meeting with the departments and vetting the requests. They went through the majority of them last week. There was still some open questions on some technology related requests that they wanted some additional information. So they have our CTO joining them on Wednesday, which is, what day is today?
Tuesday.
Short weeks always get me. So fiscal advisory will be meeting again tomorrow evening to finish up their recommendations for Article 6. And then they are scheduled to come here on Thursday of this week to present Article 6 to this group for your recommendation. So I'm hopeful that they will be able to complete their work tomorrow evening and be ready to discuss it all with you later this week. I did not bring any handouts for Article 6 this evening because again, they had a couple of items that they still need to finish. So I didn't want to confuse the matter. However, Article 7, which is capital under 25, is not reviewed by fiscal, but is reviewed by the finance committee. So what I handed, there we go, town manager is going to be here momentarily. What I handed out to you this evening is a one-pager. Al, you don't have it, and anybody else that's joined remotely, but if you go to the town's website, and you go to the finance committee page and you go under 2026 meetings. I just posted it there before I came over here. So in the table, you'll see that handout referenced. So folks can access that remotely. The reason I handed this out is all of the requests are entered by the departments into ClearGov, and they put a description of their request in addition to the title. And of course, we only see the title when we look at the warrant article. So I wanted to give you some additional information for each of their requests under 25. And if after reading these descriptions, you still have additional questions, then let me know which departments you have questions for, and I will schedule those department heads to join you at an upcoming meeting to answer any additional questions regarding capital under 25. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay. Well, why don't we do that now, Article 7, or go through what you've got here.
Can you just explain what the difference between so I'm just looking at one right here and it's talking about painting, for $2,300. Isn't that maintenance? Was that?
So it is. So this article is sort of a misnomer.
Yeah.
It's really small equipment, one-time purchases. Some may be, equipment, and some may be on the fringe of a capital outlay. It's basically a non-recurring expense, so we wouldn't want to put it in a department's budget per se because it's not recurring. It's a one-time thing, and these are most municipalities call this kind of the small equipment, small purchases article.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, doesn't,
It doesn't, pertaining to your point, Chuck, that is, would that be part of like under, Katie's budget?
So there's a lot of things that would ideally fall under Katie's purview, but you know, when we're talking about a $2,300 project, Katie is really right now focused on major repairs and maintenance, HVAC systems, roofs, bigger items. So the department heads who are responsible for buildings, this is them managing their buildings and making requests of smaller.
my point is, if you look at this, it's 2,300 this year, 2,800 next year, 2,900 the year after.
If those get funded.
If they get funded, exactly. So I mean, it almost that's like a recurring maintenance expense more than it is a capital expense. But it, I guess, doesn't make any difference where it comes out of, but it's, you know.
Yeah, same with the carpeting.
So this,
Should
the
be.
list that you're looking at is one-time requests for those particular projects, right? So there are different areas of, you're
Why-
talking about the library in particular.
Yeah, right.
And the funding source is free cash, which is typically used for those one-time expenses, not for funding ongoing operations.
It's probably where it's coming from to fund it as opposed to not.
Yeah.
But anyway, Fran, did you have a question?
Yeah, I think that with the driving factors, this isn't something that they replace every year.
So what is it?
Well, why don't we take them one at a time and then we can maybe do it easier. What do you think?
It was just clarification. I'm not against it. I'm just curious as to why we have something like that in a capital budget.
It's, again, it's not really capital, it's a misnomer.
We just call it capital light.
We pulled it out of capital, there was a, as I recall, Betsy, many years ago, there wasn't a way to, efficiently
Fund these.
to fund these, and I think that's where capital light came from, right?
Yeah, I mean, as Mary said, it's kind of the orphan budget that is trying to we're just one-time expenditures and really doesn't rise to the level of going through fiscal advisory, nor do they have the time to do it. So we take a look at it and the money comes from free cash mostly if it's not coming from a dedicated source like ARPA or whatever.
Waterways and improvement.
Waterways and basic. Why don't we start at the beginning and then we can kind of have questions as we go if we want people to come back. Your cheaters fired up there?
And I'm trying to get connected here.
No, roof barricades kind of had me at hello on that one.
I'm not quite sure what that is.
I think you probably don't want people to fall off the roof.
Exactly. It's the same thing that you guys,
Up on that Percy Barker?
that you had approved in, the reserve fund transfer, their OSHA safety compliance requirement.
Were these part of the OSHA
No, they were not,
suggestions?
no.
But they will be.
They are preventative so that we identify, when we got a notification about an infraction on one building, he went and took a look at others and is being proactive to make sure we don't have OSHA infractions on other buildings.
Makes
Or
sense,
lawsuits?
makes sense to me.
Um,
Anybody have any questions on
No,
that?
Mary, like, so obviously the facilities department, we increased the budget from 450 to 550 for building and maintenance. This is just another avenue to fund additional projects, that's it.
Correct.
is there any thought, Mary, that instead of doing the one-offs, because, to Chuck's point, painting, carpet replacement, furniture we kind of put in cap light. Because it doesn't happen on a regular basis, it's not maintenance per se. Is there any thought to put this in the operational budget? And if not, would the rec come behind it?
No, money.
Okay. Did I answer my own questions? Okay.
All right, so police, life-saving equipment. I don't know, but I don't want an expired defibrillator if I'm grabbing my chest, so
Where you started?
Anybody?
Okay,
that's the second one, 210,
thank you.
right? Got it?
Got
Okay.
it. Started on the backside.
Did I?
I did.
Oh,
You didn't.
okay.
You started on.
Anybody have any questions on the defibrillators?
No,
Nope.
need to be replaced,
Yep.
way
Traffic,
before I have 100.
traffic safety equipment. This is the spike strip. I've never, I mean, and that's fine. If it's something that safety, have they ever used it?
Yes,
They have? Oh, all right. On you?
no,
Just
I have no personal knowledge.
Yeah.
But I know
They
that they have, we've talked about this at previous, meetings, and they were asked the same question, and at the time, I think it was the previous chief that said yes, that they do use them and very successfully.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay. Fire. Is Minotaurs supposed to be monitors?
No,
Oh, they really are Minotaurs?
they are. If you remember when the fire chief was here presenting his budget, he took a moment to explain this one. These are the radios that they all carry on their hip that are used for their primary source of communication
With each other.
with each other, and they're at end of life and need to be replaced.
Okay. Which off-duty personnel use to listen to be notified for callbacks.
It's pretty important.
Yep. So are those just given out to people that are not on duty or people that would
Now
be,
everybody gets one.
everybody has one?
Yeah, and they are in fact called Minotaurs. He asked me if I had a typo as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is
So
correct
nobody
from the
believed
chief.
you today.
If they go, as I recall, if they go for a callback, if chief asks for a callback, it goes to all personnel.
So they're supposed to have them with them
Yes.
when they're off duty. Okay. Any questions?
No.
Harbor master. A dinghy, replace the town dinghy. I thought, for whatever reason, I thought that was included. Did that just get moved because it was $800 and not worth putting in capital?
Yeah.
Because I think we
Any other
discussed
question for
that.
Dee?
It's a used one, easily buying it from someone,
Oh,
he
knowing
told us
him,
already,
he's
so
got,
I believe it's used. Like,
yeah, he got a deal.
I
Okay.
guess. I'd say yes.
Yep. Any questions for
price?
that?
Yeah.
Okay. Replace Marine Unit 5 trailer, existing waterways
It's
improvement.
a
Yeah, if
2004.
we've got a 20-year-old triaxle boat trailer, if that
They're
thing,
taking it out of the Waters Improvement Fund.
yeah,
All of the harbor master items, all 4 items will be coming out of the waterways improvement
Good.
fund.
Thank you.
and he's pretty good about if he can possibly sell it or have it as excess, he will turn that over to the town to do. It doesn't go to like a graveyard there. Hey buddy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great, mobile radio purchase and install for the harbor master again. Mobile radio on a vessel, thermal and digital day night vision binocular.
Thank you.
So I would,
Why?
I mean, it's pretty obvious why he'd need that.
Warm.
So any other questions for the harbor master? It's all pretty straightforward.
Correct, I agree.
Mark, anything? No, all set? Al, you okay?
Yes,
Okay, cemetery. So the crematory processor, did Chip bring this up? I don't remember it if you did.
Yes, and
Probably
this is
did.
not a computer. This is actually a processing station. And so this is the equipment that is used to separate
Still
metal
Nope,
parts.
I
Yes,
tragically know what it is, yeah.
And to package the contents. So,
Okay,
and-
perfect.
Yep.
Anything that will improve air quality down there, because I know that has been a struggle.
That has been a challenge, yes. It's a very dusty, and this model will help to address that. And help alleviate some of the HVAC issues that the building has been experiencing.
Any questions for Chip on that one? Okay,
Oh, it's good.
painting, I think we already discussed it. They haven't painted in 25 years. That doesn't make sense.
The
Like you said, the library's been located for the site for 25 years.
And many interiors are now in need of repainting due to fading and chipped walls. This makes it sound like they haven't changed in 25 years.
Yeah, I guess. I doubt very much if that's the case, but.
painting, I don't know, primer.
No, obviously. It used to be great when we had the money to like hire college kids and give some people in town a job for the summer and,
It's
but
better when we could do it with prisoners. We used to do that quite a bit,
that was great too. Liked that a lot.
but, and they were free. All you had to do was feed them, but they don't have prisoners that they can let out like anymore like that.
Yep, that's a glitch.
Hmm.
Anyway, so they're doing it over a 3-year. So at the end of 3 years, the entire interior will get painted or everything. No, I didn't think so. Not for that kind of money.
Not gonna be good. These are for certain areas.
And they're minimal at these prices.
So this is just trying to keep up with it.
It's a touch up.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
Small cap carpeting. So. Can they match what they've got?
It looked like the rooms, hallways and stuff, it looked like the separate parts.
That was always a big thing when we had to redo this building was, you know, trying to get it so that it matched. Because
Well, they're doing it in specific areas, the landman room, so one room,
yeah, so it's
Be
probably not
self-contained.
as
the
noticeable.
hallway, the young adult lounge and hallway, so I mean, they're like self-contained areas. We think that would be too big a problem,
Right.
even if it was close, you wouldn't notice.
Well, and if that's carpeting is 25 years old, it owes us nothing.
Mhm.
With those high traffic areas. Anybody have any questions for Denise on that? No. All set.
Beach, my favorite place.
I do love the beach.
Yeah,
TVs,
yeah, they get beat up pretty well.
oh, that is just absolutely true.
So wait a minute, the UTVs are utilized up to 10 months out of the year in extreme beach conditions. Because, does the, Chris's organization use UTVs, or would that be all within her budget?
That's right.
Chris,
Yeah, that,
That's right.
would Chetty,
Does it mean the reservation?
The
They don't pay
reservation.
for any of them.
no, this is.
They haven't for years.
Steve and I.
Beach ops.
so these are totally beach ops.
This is just for patrolling.
Yeah, for the Rangers.
But we're basically adding a sixth at this time, right?
So this is just one. It's only
We're not
22,000, isn't that used? I mean, that
To replace the
sounds
one
cheap.
going out of system.
Request to replace one thing.
What's a super?
So they have 5, they want 6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 22,000 is not expensive.
French, this does not fully satisfy the request that the beach would like to see in their inventory, but this is because of the extreme conditions that they're subject to. They're constantly doing repairs, so
Well, understood.
one of them needs to come out of service. And in a perfect world, Steve would be asking for multiple.
Okay,
So are they retiring one? Is that?
Yeah, the best line is the second to last one. This request is to replace one going out. of
Okay,
service.
got it. Okay.
Okay. I don't think we need Steven to discuss that, do we?
No.
Nope. Replace and repair town pier gangway connections. I would hope that we get to the point where we can. You know, to Friend's point, some of these things, obviously, I mean, I can't imagine that work doesn't have to be done on those piers at the end of every season. That, you know, that would be their maintenance. I mean, I get why it's separate because then the money has to go to that purpose, so we know it's
Well,
being achieved.
But more importantly, in this particular case, they have to request it because it's coming out of waterways improvement and it requires town meeting appropriation to use those funds.
Sounds like a heck of a plan to me.
so
And
this
there's
is also
funding,
coming
there's-
from Waterway, right?
Yeah, and there's money there. So we're still in good shape on that.
Yes, waterway improvement right now has over 600,000.
Okay, so he's in good shape on that. Is he deferring doing a lot because he has something big that he thinks is coming up?
I
or-
know he's got a couple of items on the capital over 25. But he does have some repairs that are coming up in future years.
Yeah, that'd be, okay.
Correct.
He's good about planning ahead on that. All right, this one I'm confused about.
What is it?
TNC rideshare highway. They're traffic signs, but what,
So this is the thing I was talking about at our last meeting about Uber. You guys remember that conversation when we had the, okay. So TNC is called the Traffic Network Company, I believe is a company incorporated company. Started a few years ago when rideshare started to come online, rideshare being Uber and Lyft and other regulated transportation methods. And what happens is when those industries started to crop up in Massachusetts, the state, of course, started to impose some regulations and try to insert themselves into the process. And as a result, they established this fund called the TNC fund that every municipality has access to. And what it means is that every rideshare ride that originates in the town of Duxbury or concludes in the town of Duxbury, the town of Duxbury receives 10 cents for each one of those. And so for the last couple of years, we have been accumulating these dimes into a fund. And the fund now has about $7,600 or $7,700 in it. I generally speaking, we take in anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a year, or maybe slightly more than that. And so now, and the use of those funds is restricted to transportation related expenses. Our highway superintendent has had some requests from residents for the installation of additional street signs or speed limit signs and different things throughout the town. And so when I was speaking with him, I had raised the issue that we have these TNC funds that would be a good utilization for installing additional traffic signs in town. So that's what this is for.
Great. Comes out of that fund. Good work.
That's-
any questions on that one? All set?
So,
Okay, so is this complete or will there be more for this?
nope, so that is complete at $155,102.
Um,
And then how much of that do you think comes out of free cash?
116,767 comes out of free cash.
In the
And then
rest of
in
the-
prior budget cycles, is that pretty consistent with what you
Yeah, the
expected?
target is anywhere from 100 to 125.
What was that number again?
116,767 from free cash. 30,835 from waterways improvement. And 7,500 from the TNC fund. For a total of 155,102.
Okay,
Thank you.
You got it. Then my last thing before we move on to the warrant is, earlier this afternoon, I sent out to everybody an email regarding community preservation articles. So we're gonna see a number of articles in the warrant this evening related to CPC. Holly Morris is scheduled to come before you on February 3rd to present all of the articles. But all of the applications that they've received that they are currently vetting are on the town's website at the link that I sent out to you guys so that you could start to go through and take a look at the backup documentation that they have. And then Holly will be presenting their final requests with dollar amounts and able to answer any of your questions on the 3rd of February. So if you could look at that information between now and then, that would be great.
Mary, a few of those in parentheses said denied, so
Correct.
those are not in here.
That is correct. That is correct. And I think one of the ones that was denied was one of the ones you were looking at.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh,
I mean, the one, there was a Weston Farms one and the one further down the list that were denied. But the one I was emailing you about, I think it's in there. I see it.
I'm not seeing that dollar amount, so maybe,
The dollar amount's not in there, but
okay,
yeah.
maybe when we finish, you can show me what you were looking at, because I'm not seeing anything to that level that you had
it was in
reported.
the presentation.
Okay, okay. I can tell you what the preliminary results are. Okay,
Does this look like there's a ton more than usual?
there are what, 10 articles, so there's quite
I counted 9.
a good handful.
It's, no, it's actually not a lot. It's about average.
Okay, so the community preservation applications,
Wait, what are you talking about? Articles or the?
no, I was just trying to go,
website.
I'm going to the link.
I was told today that there were
Mary gave.
10.
There are 10 CPC articles.
Okay, so I'm obviously looking at the wrong thing. Okay,
Do you want a hard copy? I just gave Weston out. Or is there plenty?
They're looking at, yeah.
You're looking at the warrant? What are you
No,
looking
no,
at? Oh,
doesn't matter. No biggie. I will,
no, she's on.
I will.
I went to the link that Mary sent out and I got last year's list and there's about 20 of them. So
That's not last year's list, that is the current list. Those are the items that they are reviewing right now in 2026. Those are the applications that they have received. There are a couple, if you look at the links, there are multiples for projects. There's one, for example, one link is the application, and the second link may be a slide deck that the proposer, or proponent, I should say, used during their presentation. So they're
great.
There's multiple for
Got
one request. Actually, on here, it says the Duxbury Free Library painting and carpet CPA application denied, and obviously.
And
that's
it
what
was
got put in
denied.
Here.
It was denied because it's considered repairs and maintenance. And CPC funds do not cover repairs and maintenance.
So,
They cover rehabilitation, but they don't, that didn't rise to the occasion of rehabilitation. So
Gotta give Denise snaps for at least trying it that way.
we asked her to do that
It's
months
important.
ago, and CPC didn't summarily
I asked
deny it.
Mary if we could do HVAC units on it today, so.
Pardon me?
If it were a historic building and it required a major rehabilitation,
Fire station, that's 5 years old,
Then
it's
it-
not a story.
right?
Well, it is kind of historic. Didn't you go to kindergarten in that building?
Fire station?
Oh, not the fire
Oh,
station.
I did,
The
I had
library.
third, fourth grade in the library.
Yeah.
So just so I understand, of the 20 that are on the link. Holly's gonna come back on the 3rd and talk to us about what was accepted by her committee. Thank you.
All right. So other than watching the Patriots, Rainey, you were working on the warrant this weekend?
No, we did it all day. Yeah, I'll do it on Friday and then, Mary gave me the final numbers and now we're good.
Excellent,
So it's a draft.
excellent.
There will be changes. I'll
The
go over
first of
those.
many.
So how would you, since there will be changes, I don't want to have to go back and revote things that we
I'll
feel,
tell you what's at best.
huh?
I'll tell you what.
Okay, yeah, if we feel as though that this is still, so, why not take the bull by the horns? You got a number here for, the override.
Mhm.
Want to break that down for us?
Sure. Take a look at, in the warrant, take a look at page.
Before we go, are we finished with that? Are we voting on this?
Oh, yeah, it'd be nice,
Did you want to vote on capital A,
it'd be nice if you did.
huh?
It'd be nice if you did, and I'll tell you why when we're done.
All right, why don't we vote on it as a whole, just article 7?
Yes.
With a balance of,
So,
As presented.
yep,
yeah, as presented.
It's on page 30 of the warrant.
The fiscal advisory has already voted this, right?
They do
No,
not.
they don't know that we do. Capital A.
They have no opinion on it.
Nope.
That's correct.
Nope.
So move to approve Article 7
As presented.
as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have to do roll call. Teddy, why don't we start with you? I can't, you're muted, Ted. There you go. Hi, buddy. Okay, Al?
Aye.
Chuck?
Chuck, aye.
Fred?
Aye.
Actually, I.
That's here.
Kathleen, I.
Okay, so that's done.
There's your first charge. That'll be the first edit I make in the new version,
800.
page 30.
And why, Rainey?
But to include your figures, far right column.
All right, so back to question 1. Randy, do you want to tell us how that number came to be?
The contingency budget?
Yeah.
Sure, for the override, yeah. If you look at page 26,
26?
yeah, of your warrant, you'll see that the total contingent appropriation figure, which you've already voted, comes to 1.89 million. Giving us, we accounted for an excess levy capacity in year 1 of $906,000. So that gives you a total override figure. This is what will be on the ballot. It's in the warrant already as this dollar amount, which is $2,798,451. So that's your total override amount.
Six. Say that again to me, Rainey.
Your total override amount on page 26.
Yeah.
Is $2,798,451.
So this is, I apologize for this question. So obviously the budget that we approved, less the revenue, it's $1.9 million unfunded. So where does the 900,000, the excess levy, and what does that number represent?
Yeah, that was gonna be my question.
Yeah.
So that's-
It represents the possibility of being able to do additional things in future years if we have to build in a capacity for sustainability. So that's the sustainability aspect.
What percentage?
What is it for? Mary? What percentage is it, 4%?
The increase, it's a combination of 4.5 and some positions.
Okay.
Additional positions
I
down the
couldn't hear
road.
you, but
Roughly 4% with, and the possibility of additional positions down the road.
Well, why wouldn't those just be voted on in fiscal 28? Why do you add it into this fiscal 27 budget?
So
Go ahead.
excess levy capacity is the amount that the town could raise
Okay.
in taxation, but they are not raising it
Okay.
in years 1 and 2. So what it does is it gives us the capability of approving an override that gives us room for growth and will allow us to sustain for a few years out into the future. So in year 1, so even though the override is 2.79 million, in year 1, 1.89 would be utilized and the rest would not. And then in year 2, the piece that we've built in for growth would be utilized and more would still remain. So it gives the town the ability to have an escalator or some available capacity in future years. To answer your question of why would we not vote on that in future years? If we approached it the way that you're asking, that would mean that there would be an override every single year.
Okay, that makes
Does that
sense.
make sense?
Now it looks like it's every 2 years, but the question I have.
Why did you say every 2?
Well, and let me maybe ask the question, maybe you could help me understand why I'm coming up with every 2 years. So we're looking to spend the 1.891916 in 2027, right? So if we need the 1.8 or 1.9 in 2027, so the excess levy capacity in year 1, which would be 2028,
No, it's the excess capacity in 2027.
excess capacity 2027. So
Are you afraid that it's only half of what we need for next year?
that's what we're
Yeah, okay.
my head went.
She's concerned that the excess levy capacity is 900,000, but we obviously are adding twice that amount in the override, so is
So
it only?
once you add it in the override, it's added permanently.
It stays. to the
It
next year.
stays, so you don't add 1.8
So,
million.
the 2798, 451 remains.
Every year, but that's the additional we can raise
That-
now.
The 2798 is the upper limit by which we can increase the tax levy incrementally, get to 2.7 million.
So you're already doing an override for whatever the number is, and or 2 million, just for to be easy, 1,000,009, which will carry in the levy. And so you will have those additional monies. Some of the things that are in, you would explain to me, and I was gonna ask a question about this for a whole different reason. I get it. But this was the stumbling block, one of the major stumbling blocks last year, is because people didn't get the sustainability piece of it. And they were concerned that we asked for too much. There was, honestly, trust issues that if you had the money to spend, that you would spend it all in 1 year, all of the things.
But that's not true.
I,
right?
well,
Because what the amount that is available to spend and the amount that is approved to spend are two totally different things. The amount that's available is what is voted on at the ballot box. The amount that is actually utilized is the amount that's voted at town meeting. So when you look at the 5B budget that was approved by this body as well as town manager's recommendation, the amount that is being requested to utilize of the override is 1.8 million. So we cannot appropriate more than 1.89 million, the vote from town meeting.
all right, so I get it. I understand it, but this was misunderstood, from Hill and Dale, right? And I just don't, we need to craft a easily understood response to this, which I don't think I'm hearing yet. I get where you're coming from, but we're gonna have to make it really easy to understand. Like, this is similar to a home equity. It's additional funds that if we needed them to accommodate increases that are not anticipated. I don't know how.
And so I would be very careful with that language.
No, I'm just, yes,
Yeah.
spitballing here.
Because it sounds like the town could increase how much they are utilizing of that override, and that is not correct.
Right, in the future, they could.
In the future, but again, everything is subject to a town meeting vote, so it is fully transparent to the community what portion of the override is being utilized. In year one, FY 27, 1.89 million is being utilized and added to the budget, and it is increasing expense lines, adding some additional positions, etc. Once those are in the FY 27 budget, they stay there permanently, and that funding is dedicated to the budget for those purposes.
Right, so
And then-
906,535 is not an arbitrary number. It's not as though we feel as though we should have 900,000 in excess levy capacity or 500,000 in excess levy capacity. How is that number built? I think it's going to be the question.
So as Rainey said, it's built using two different components. One is an escalator on the amount of the override, as well as a set of proposed positions or increased expenses that we anticipate we will need in future years.
And what are those, I guess I'm trying to understand I get the 1.891 because that's the 5B.
So I'll give you an example, but certainly the town manager can speak to it. So these are his recommendations, but in FY 28, for example, we would be considering the addition of the facility technician position. So we know that our facilities director, for example, requested 2 positions.
Mhm.
We supported adding the administrative assistant in the FY 27 budget. But in the FY 28 budget, we would contemplate the technician position. So that excess levy capacity has been built to include that proposal.
I get it. I understand everything you're saying. This is going to be, I think, a communication spot. Where if we're trying to have people understand why they need to do an override for 2.8 as opposed to another, not 1.8, then.
1.8 only solves the issue for FY 27.
Can I
Right,
ask you a question?
sure.
So what will, if the override goes through with the 1.89 million?
Mhm.
Okay, what would the tax levy be at the end of this year?
The tax levy would be whatever is voted under 5A plus 1.89.
Okay, which plus what the budget was, and then going into next year, it would automatically 900 would automatically, if it's elected in, the vote for it will automatically be included in the tax levy so that we could go 2.5%. Perhaps 2.5 can go on top of that total amount.
So
So say the total of everything was $100 million. Okay, next year it could be 102,500,000.
So sort of. What you just asked me is in year one, what happens to the budget, and the override amount, and you had suggested that 1.89 million be added in year one,
Mhm.
and then 900,000 be added in year two. And my response to that is that could happen, but that is not what's being proposed.
The 900 isn't gonna automatically be added to the following year's budget.
Right,
It'll
think
be
of
added
it,
to
think
the
of it in
levy.
the long term.
No,
No.
Divide it by
If,
five.
it would be added to the maximum allowable levy.
Okay,
There's
Right.
two different things. There is an allowable levy, which is the upper limit,
okay.
but then there is the actual levy, which is the
And
amount
then
of that
the
we're
2.5% goes over which number?
using. The 2.5%, it's a different calculation. It factors into the maximum allowable levy
Well,
for
so it would
a short
include
answer.
900,000.
so the 2.5 would
sorry.
be,
So it would include the 900,000.
2.5 comes into effect on A. Right, and not B.
The idea is to spend the whole,
There wouldn't be a B if we had, if.
Chuck, I understand
next
what
year,
I
right?
understand what
yeah,
you're
the
saying.
idea is not to spend up to the full amount, the full first,
No,
second
what
year.
I think,
I understand.
Imagine it over a 5 or 6 year
Yeah.
span, because now you're dealing with, maybe 100,000, 150,000 per year additional.
Yeah.
If the need arises.
Yeah.
so if
So
you,
We need to have that
But
flexibility because of the cost.
yeah, so my point is, if that is added in there, then we go to 2.5% and say we don't have to go 2.5%. When we do the budget next year, because we've added this in, it might be less than that, and there'd be no need for an override.
Correct.
yeah,
I hope this is a useful, and I hope it's a simple question. When you think about the levy limit override question, how many years of sustainability does that buy?
This is based on 3.
but you know what, I mean, last
No,
year, this was the biggest question. And the biggest pushback was like, well, we're not gonna give you that much of a buffer because we don't believe that.
How
you
much
won't
was that
spend it."
buffer within
Yeah,
the
so I have it.
override last year?
Yeah, I have it in front of me. So the total contingent appropriations was 4.8 million. And the unused levy capacity in year one was 1 million. We asked for a total of 5.8.
Yeah, so that was.
And there was a
that's
5-year
twice.
sustainability plan, correct?
So it's 5.8, and that's just 2.7.
Right,
Right.
the percentages are a little
Yeah,
more,
no,
like
right,
the,
yes, right.
to have the unused levy be
Yeah, so
50% of the,
we were looking for 5 years
Yeah,
sustainability
and
last year.
so
right? Yeah.
that percentage, you can't really compare them because they're not apples to apples. So last year's contingency budget was adding a lot more into the budget than what is being proposed this year.
and then what would it take, so if we wanted to add in the 900, would the town have to vote would everyone have to vote in to use more of the
Yep.
levy?
So what that would require is under the 5B budget, that contingency budget, that you would spend more than the 1.8 that we're asking.
No, next year?
So next year, there would only be one budget.
Yeah.
And our plan or the proposal is not to utilize all 900,000 in year 2.
But does the town
Only-
approve how much we use of that 900?
Correct.
Just like according to a budget.
Okay,
So going back to question one. The amount is 2798451. Right, that's put on the town meeting to your point, Mary, town meeting gets to vote on that number.
No.
All right. So roll it back and
Town meeting is voting on the amount that is in the 5B budget, which is 1.8.
okay,
The ballot
it's 27.
is 2,000. And that's
Right.
because of the mechanics. of
I
how
understand, yeah, no, I understand where you're going with the sustainability.
Right.
I think maybe couching it as, it gives us the ability to have a 1%. No, not, well,
Well,
it's $100 million budget, you've got $1 million, then, you know.
Let me ask Mr. Town Manager.
His name's Reed.
Yes, Mr. Rainey Reed. How are you going to present this?
To the select board.
Not just the select board, but I think because of last year and the confusion about the size of the number, there were a lot of questions about what the capacity was, the sustainability, just the mechanics of it as we're discussing today. And it just doesn't leap off the page at you, right? It just doesn't. So what is the story, right, for the public?
Well, last year, we asked for a lot. We didn't get it. This year we've asked for less. Hopefully we will get it. In either scenario, we have to build in flexibility to have, the sustainability factor. Sustainability factor hasn't gone away. We don't want to do this for just 1 year. We don't want to come back for several if we can avoid it. This, we've predicated on a 3-year plan. We might be able to stretch it and get further. We do that pretty well here, where we don't have to ask the voters for unusual things for long periods of time. So the need for the sustainability is still there. It will not go away. Because we haven't had overrides for so long, the practice of doing an override here is infrequent, and that's what the voters prefer. But we've gotten to a point now where if we don't do it, we're gonna really be hitting the skids. I mean, people have
No,
felt some.
this is not a question about doing over, I'm really looking at more of how do you present it so that it's comprehensible? In other words,
We can't do it just for 1 year. This
right,
buys
so
us,
the
this
1
buys
year
us
is
at
the
least 3.
1.8,
This buys us at least 3.
right,
1.8 will get you a year.
okay.
This, we're hoping to get 3 more
So
years.
is there a,
Building on the base.
If I understand Kathleen's question correctly, what the note I just put down is to add additional description in here to explain how.
I think that would be helpful.
and I think that people
Override
react
numbers
pretty well
relate
to
to
the
one.
fact
Yes.
that we have financial guidelines, that we're doing this based on not only our experience, but the experience of other local towns. Is there any data out there that shows what excess levy capacity, what an acceptable amount, or what a typical amount is in people's levy, of what they like to carry?
So there is not a rule of thumb in terms of a percent of your budget per se that should be carried in excess levy capacity, because every community is different. But if you are reading any of these MMA reports that I've been sending out and sharing with all of you folks, one of the common themes that you can see very clearly is that these communities that are facing financial constraints right now, and the large number of communities that are pursuing overrides, They all have nominal excess levy capacity, which means they don't have the ability to grow without an override. And so to answer your question right now, the trend is that a lot of communities are facing limited to no excess levy capacity, which is why they're facing overrides.
Yes, that defines the issue, but is there a recommended amount? Is there I mean, is there anything we can hang our hat on and say, hey,
Al,
know,
got it.
oh, Al, yes, sure.
Yeah,
Al?
okay, let's kind of take a step back and kind of think this through. If I'm hearing this correctly, we're taking a look at 2.79 million with 1.8 getting consumed in the first year. Well,
Yep.
okay, that's cool. And that leaves 900 to spread over 3 years. So that is telling me in very simple terms that 3-year progression is going to establish our 5A budget. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Rainey, have you and Mary developed any kind of numbers on what that number will look like? Just hypothetical, because that's what I'm really interested in.
What do you mean, what it'll look like? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, if we know that we've got a spread of 3 years at 900,000, so that gives us a sort of a base increase of a certain percentage. So we can then project what the incremental increase is over this year's base 5A budget. That's what I'm looking for. Have you developed any kind of a scenario like that, a trending scenario? Because it would be helpful for us to understand if we project out 3 to 5 years or 3 years anyways beyond this approval, if we get it, okay, to give us some idea of what is the ballpark number that we're dealing with. That's what I'm looking for.
Al, as a starting point, I kind of asked a similar question to Mary last week, and she pointed to the September 8th slide deck to the select board, where she had a multi-year through fiscal 30, where you saw a building deficit, which this sustainable budget is probably trying to address.
But remember.
I know that's all still numbers, things have changed.
I want to say to Mark, thanks for pointing that out, because you know what? I probably paid insufficient attention to that, so I need to go back and thank you, Mary, for posting it so I can refresh, because that's the kind of, I think, strategic thinking. You know, we need to do all this detail stuff, but I think the critical part for us going forward to help the town is strategic thinking, so we can tell our citizens and our friends and neighbors what they might expect, because fear is out there. And I think when we go through this with all the diligence that we're doing, we need to give some idea of what could happen. No, not necessarily what the probability is, but we need to sort of give them some reassurance that we've thought this through. We're working for the best of the community, but we have some idea of where this may be trending, and we can't guarantee it. That's what I'm looking for.
But this is a hedge against that trend.
And that's great. That's great. But I want to be able to engender trust from our fellow citizens so that they have some feeling that we've really busted our backside on this and given them our best considered judgment. And that's why I'm digging into this at this point. And I apologize if I'm going too deep.
No. Do we have an understanding of the impact to the annual property tax?
Yeah.
The 1.8 with the 1.8.
The 1.8.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't, I'd have to get it online,
Oh, it's
It's,
on the DLS calculator, sorry.
the estimated impact of the 1.8 is $325.
okay, thank you.
Per household.
Correct, per average single family.
And
home.
that really gets to the nub of the issue. And I think I thank you for pointing that out, because you know that will hit home to a lot of folks. And I think, you know, sort of being sort of sensitive to that and empathetic about that is actually going to help us over the line at town meeting and beyond.
What did you say that number was again?
$325. In year one. For 1.89 million.
And that's on the average households, right?
Correct.
So basically $1 million house.
Correct.
Yeah.
One point, I
Two
think we're
or
at
something.
1.2 something.
So
1.21.
when we, for the sustainability piece of it, right? We then, if I'm hearing correctly, if we need to tap into the nine, whatever and change, right? We then come back to town meeting in subsequent years,
Under five, under Article 5. 5B will go away.
5 people go away,
It'll just be
and it'll be
back to
just
Article 5.
Article 5.
Yep.
Okay, so then that Article 5, the, we retain the sustainability portion of it. Those dollars are now available in outgoing years. That 905 is available in outgoing years. Or would that have, no, we just be, thank you, Rainey, we just be voting on the budget.
Yes,
We'd
that's
just
it.
be, we'd just be going
It buys us
this
the,
Article
it
5.
would buy us the ability to move forward with the budget over the next at least 3 years.
Okay, like Don's on Marblehead, got
It's okay.
I literally saw that.
it.
Yeah, but we've got to make
I'll
it,
get there.
yeah, we've got to create a descriptor that enables people that don't do this as much as we do to have that light go on.
Mhm.
Because that was a huge issue last year.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
the good news is, it's half what we asked for last year. That's the big good news. Unfortunately, we have some of the same problems to address. I wouldn't call them problems, concerns. We've already voted the budget, so we know what we're putting in there.
Yeah.
Two of the issues that we have now is that contingency piece of the 900. I think that's an odd number, but a 906,000, whatever. I don't know how you came to that, but be that as it may. The trust factor of us not spending it, but I think we can do a better job of explaining how that's not available to you, the town, until the town decides to spend it and the town meeting approves it. So you can't get it unless you go back and ask for it. And I think that's key. And I think one of the other issues that a lot of people had trouble with, we are reinstating certain positions that without this, we couldn't afford to have. And yet we're still asking for more bodies. We want more people on top of that. Now, I think we've gone through the analysis and said, yes, we need those people. The facilities department desperately needs the bodies to keep this $100 million plant running. The police and the fire have done a good job explaining the benefit of the community and public safety. We need them. But we have to do a really good job, I think, of hammering on those 2 points. That 900,000 is there for future years, not this year. Your tax bill won't go up by that amount until we ask you to give us permission to spend it. And these positions are really needed. And like I say, it's 2 of those problems were the things that beat us on the head last year, and I don't think we addressed them well enough. That the people that were opposed were able to convince people that they couldn't trust us with that extra 900,000 levy limit. And there's no reason on earth the citizens of the town shouldn't trust the town for those things, because we've never done anything like that in the past. That's not the way this town is run, never has been run that way. And I don't think it ever will be. There's enough checks and balances to keep us from doing that. And town meeting is the place that's going to decide whether we ever get into that extra money or not. But I just, we have to do a better job of preparing ourselves for the people that just want to say no to new taxes.
Last year, if I remember correctly, that number you're talking about is 325 this year. It was considerably more than that, wasn't it last
Over
year?
1,000.
Huh?
It was over
It
1,000.
was over 1,000 last year, exactly right.
There's a significant reduction.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think, $300 is gonna be, just that number alone is gonna be take a lot of people off the fence.
Hopefully. And I also think selfishly, I got swayed because my house is not valued anywhere near what some of these houses on the eastern side of town are valued at. So the impact to me was less, clearly, but it was still an impact to me. And it still was a lot of money, it increased But if you take the 1,000,002, which is the average household, and that generates 325,000. If we say the house is 3,000,006, is it 3 times the 325 and it's 975,000? I mean, $975 per year, less than $1,000 to give the town the resources it needs. I think that's a much easier compelling selling point.
Okay.
Hopefully.
We're off like a herd of turtles. Question on question one. So are we, as a group, after this conversation, comfortable with this number?
Yes.
No,
Okay, what is your,
I really feel like we scrutinized the 1.9 a ton, and then I don't know how I get comfortable or explain the 900 and repeat half of that. I feel like a lot of the feedback last year was they don't want to do a 5-year, the town didn't want to vote for 5 years of planning.
Yeah.
So I was coming tonight expecting to see 1.9 million, not.
I was expecting around 2.1. I was
Yeah.
surprised that it was this much bigger.
Yeah.
I agree. But the conversation has helped me get to the point where I knew what it was last year when we were asking for the 5.8, and that $1 million was part of it. And I think it became a bigger issue because the 4.8 was sitting on top or below the additional one.
Yeah.
And it drove that number up to 5.8, which is really, really a difficult swallow. The 900 still makes sense. Particularly if we can explain ourselves that it's not going to be spent this year and it won't be spent next year unless you give us permission to spend it.
If and when, yeah.
We don't have the ability to spend that money without town meeting saying yes. And there is the distinction that we don't have to go back to a vote. And some people might want to argue, well, we want to have that vote, but that's hamstringing ourselves, I think, and making it difficult to just manage the town year to year.
Very
We're just saying a 2 or 3 year window is a lot more easy to manage.
Yeah.
Than every year, we don't know whether we're gonna have enough money to fund our sites. So we're much better off to have that cushion.
Yeah.
For that 3 year period,
how
give or
many-
take.
is there data on what our, before things got crazy, pre-COVID, what we usually carried in excess levy capacity?
So, if I can share my screen.
Okay. Teddy, I see that you wanted to say something. Mary's looking something up. What was your question?
Well, it wasn't a question. It's more of, as much as I am supportive of exactly where you're going with this budget, I think we're setting ourselves up for failure like we did last year. And I don't think couching it in, well, we can't spend it, but it will be there for the future isn't going to fly with those same people. In my own personal opinion, I think we ought to go for the override and not ask for additional monies to put into the future. I think we're making a mistake.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
I do agree. I think, now the slide deck from September 8th is not up to date. I think there's been a lot of changes since then, but in there's a lot of detail about the out year numbers that are very useful. Pension is going to get more expensive.
Yeah.
There are mandatory spending line items that are going to be more expensive that we don't have a choice that we need to fund. So if we don't have the excess money capacity, we're not meeting our mandatory funding requirements on a number of different line items. So we can get caught up on, we may want to hire here, we may want to hire here, but the big nuggets like debt service,
Health insurance.
pension,
Health insurance.
OPEB at some point, health insurance, like those are, benefits that our town employees have earned that we have to fund.
Right.
They're not optional.
And I think that's I think that if we're doing an emphasis on things that we might need the money for, that is exactly where we begin.
I would like to offer the thought that Mark has just put out in front of us, something that is really critical, because that's what we've been talking about. That's the strategic look. You have to take a look to those things that are embedded that don't necessarily show up, like hiring a police officer or a fireman. The things that are sort of below the waterline, but are nevertheless mandated, like OPED, pension funding, etc. And for that reason, you need to be able to communicate. Now, go back to what Fred said. It's basically a selling job to say, okay, you may be looking at this override in big numbers, but here's what the personal impact is on your tax bill. It's going to be under $1,000, or maybe slightly over $1,000. So what's the trade-off? That we keep, facing this and then forcing ourselves into really kind of a self-defeating place, or take a look at a broader view. I think the combination of knowledge, getting it out to the community, and communication, and just keep beating that drum that, it's incremental, and it can be painful for some, but not painful for most. And this is the way that would make the best sense to go. This is practical, it's actually conservative, and it's prudent.
You asked a question.
I did.
Excess levy capacity. So this is the Division of Local Services website. And they do have a heat map that you can take a look at to see trends on a community by community basis or on a statewide basis. So this is Duxbury, looking back from 21 through 26.
Is
I
there any way
think
you
that
could
it would
share that
probably
link
be,
or
and
post
not,
it?
I'm not asking you to do this, I think that even the last 10 years, because we always had excess levy capacity to a certain extent. There were years that it was bigger than others, but this is a new problem that we are bumping up against, having zero excess levy capacity. We always had money that we could fall back on, or we always had some money. And I think that this isn't, I don't want people to think this is a new idea, because it's not. It's just that the excess levy capacity was derived from, it was more organic. It was maybe from, excess of new growth, or monies that came in from the feds, or whatever the heck it was. And I think this whole idea that we're doing something that we haven't done before is not true. So I want it to just appear to as what it is, which is a reasonable financial strategy, so that we can run the town from year to year without unnecessary roadblocks.
Without being tactical.
This is your 10-year look.
What are we looking at?
This is what we had in excess levy capacity over. I can't read those numbers, you saved my life. So, well, that was all the crazy money from,
2023 with no, it's not COVID. That was the Student Opportunities Act.
Oh, that's right, okay.
That came in after, well after the town of Duxbury set their budget and had their town meeting. Which is why we've been having a conversation about would it make sense to delay town meeting, because sometimes these types of things happen after March, when Duxbury is the first community in the state to complete their process at town meeting, right? So that was that 1 year spike. But this is your 10-year look back of generally speaking, what excess levy capacity is like.
What's 26 say?
335,
335.
$335.
35,000.
Oh, I can't, I'm sorry.
335,
I'm blind as a bat.
Yeah, I know. So it's 335,510 is
Whole bunch.
2026.
Okay. Does anybody else think that this might be helpful for people to understand that this isn't a new concept? Although I don't know if it maybe illustrates that what we're looking for is a larger amount than what we've carried
The
previously.
visual isn't supported.
Okay, well, it was a thought.
No, it's a thought. I mean, I
Well,
think.
don't forget, no, go
No,
back,
but
if you still got that
they're
there,
playing
you can
for
go back
3
yet?
years. Like,
That's
it's
right, that's every year, you take any one of those numbers,
Take a look at it.
average it, and say that's the 3 year number, and
Look.
do it times 3, and it looks about the same.
We had $400,000 in 17, We had another 429. Then we're starting to hit the skids in 19.
Yeah.
COVID, just pre-COVID, 148. By 2020, we're at 283. By 2021, we're at $39,000. Not 390,000, but 39,000. We're stretching the dollar out as far as we can. 10 years isn't fair. Look back 30 and you really see what we've done.
We sweated through 2020.
This was lucky. But
Right.
guess what? The trend is going down.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
keep doing that, we're gonna wind up back here again.
Let's throw up that 23 number.
The 23 number is 1.7 million.
Why was it there?
What, that up by?
Student Opportunities Act funding that the state
Let's
released
take a list there.
in 2023. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts passed the Student Opportunities Act legislation, which was a revision to the state funding formula for education.
Okay.
And they provided an infusion to all communities of additional state aid. But at the same time, they also revised the calculation so that it increased every community's foundation budget and their net minimum contributions. So although they gave you revenue on one side, they also told you you had to spend more.
Oh, well.
So government works, shocking.
Mhm.
All right, I think there is. I want to move on so that we could get into a little bit more to warrant, but I think that the message here is that we need to do some better, crafting some better explanation as to the excess levy capacity and the benefits. Oh, this is that part. Now, we know what it is, but we're just not saying it in an easily understandable way to the general public. Is that a fair statement?
I think overall, some of us are okay with the numbers. It's just how they
Yes.
present.
Yeah, I'm okay with the numbers.
Right.
But I can understand why people would look at this and say, well, what are you gonna do with that? Are you just gonna increase the levy by 900,000 next year?
But it's not a concept. I don't, maybe it's a visual that would help. It would, at the presentation at town meeting, again, to the actual, I was talking about the mechanics of it, how it correlates together. So that it looks, the presentation is sequential. I don't know how else to put it, that you start here and this is where you go next and here's where you go next. And that is strategic thinking so that, right? And then the downside of coming back to you every year with a another number or another override, it just, we all agree here, doesn't make any sense to do.
I don't
just
think of this-
Selling anything, trying to sell anything at town meeting is.
It's really
next to impossible.
difficult.
But I don't think of this number as a number for hiring more people.
No.
I think of this as a number that protects us against unforeseen growth, like in health insurance, in any of the
Pensions and.
million things that we have to do that are mandated by pension, OPEB, by law. And it gives us the opportunity as a community to entertain perhaps another position or whatever, but it doesn't give us the ability to just absorb it. We still have to go through the process of saying, is this a good idea or not? But I feel more comfortable that it's a hedge against unforeseen expenses that we can't control.
But we are foreseeing the expenses, to Mark's point. We are foreseeing those expenses, and that is where the 905 comes from, right? So it's not a surprise. We have the experience and the history and the data, and we expect more to come. Things are not getting less expensive, generally speaking, overall, right? That those are, around the table, kitchen table conversations we're all having. Right, so in order to incorporate that in the strategy, I think you need to take in all of the factors that you're working toward to get that percentage for the sustainability number.
So do we want to vote this override amount? With the understanding that we feel that, I mean, this was obviously the jumping board. You're gonna get these same questions from the select board, and we're gonna get these same questions from the community.
I think I'd like to think about it until our
Mull
next
it
meeting.
over.
Are we gonna meet Thursday?
Yeah,
It's a couple of days to just gnaw on it.
okay, that's fair. Absolutely fair.
When are you gonna present your budget to the select board for them to vote A and B?
Right.
I've already presented everything with the recommendations.
They voted it?
What they'll do is they'll vote positions on articles 5A, 5B. They'll vote on all of them,
All of them.
Same as us.
just like you guys,
When will they do that?
When are they gonna do it?
over the course of the next month.
When is
It's not-
the,
it's
when's
not
the
on
meeting?
their agenda yet?
Nope. We don't even have the agenda set for Monday. I have a tickler in there to do as many articles a night as we can. But with their regular work.
So one night, the budget.
They'll do a block of them and they'll do another block another
Are
night.
you gonna start off with the override, I would think?
I'm gonna start at Article 1,
Right.
and then I will
So
go
when
all
are
the
you
way
going
through
to?
Article 35.
But I think what they're asking is when is it you're going to commence?
I don't know
with-
yet. I don't.
Okay, so the answer is he doesn't have that date.
Got it.
So let's vote on it next Tuesday.
Huh?
I'm not gonna be here on Thursday, but can we do,
Okay,
are we gonna meet 2 days a week going on for a while here? Or, I mean,
until we get through the articles, yeah.
You're probably gonna have to, I plan on it.
really?
You
Does
got
that-
35
is that-
articles to get through. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We gotta
And-
invite-
some of
And
them
at
will
the
blow
rate we're
right
going
through.
tonight, could be
Yeah, I know,
three,
right.
But
but it'll
some are
pick
gonna
up.
blow right through.
All right, Alden School feasible, so we're gonna wait on Article 1, we're gonna circle back on that and hopefully we can.
There is no vote on Article 1, that's the
I'll go on
ballot.
Question, I'm looking at question and I'm saying article.
You could go to your ballot box and vote on it.
Exactly, there is no vote for you to take on.
Right, no, I know, I misspoke.
Yeah.
Question 2, Alden School feasibility study.
Actually, let me help you out. Article 1, skip it. It's the ballot, okay? There's nothing for you to vote on, there's nothing
We
for
already
the board to
skipped it.
vote
Fine.
on. You will vote on these two items later.
Thank you.
The Alden School, I think, is Article 13. That's where you'll vote a position on it.
Okay.
So you don't need to vote positions on the ballot questions yet. You gotta vote on your articles later. Where you really want to start is Article 2,
Okay, great, thank
which is
you.
the acceptance of the reports in the town meeting.
Do we have any?
Now I just asked a basic question. When you draft this in question 2 on the third, fourth page here, do you not put the dollar amount in for the feasibility study?
No,
Like
we
it
do
is
not.
On page 32, 33.
No, we do not. It's in the motion.
Debt exclusions, if you look at the requirements for the language, debt exclusions do not include the amount.
Article 1 just notifies the public of what's on.
So there's a vote coming up.
Yeah, we're moved on from Article 1.
Notification.
All right, so acceptance of reports, the annual, accept the reports of official boards, committees. We have a motion for Article 2.
Motion to approve Article 2, acceptance of reports in the annual town report.
Second.
All right, Al,
Aye.
Ted,
So
you're on mute there, Ted. Want to give us a thumbs up? That'd be good too.
Yes, aye.
All right,
Chuck,
Chuck,
I.
Brenda,
Okay.
Actually, I.
that's the
Kathleen, I.
all right, 800 for Article 2. Like a herd of
Article
turtles.
3, move to approve Article 3, compensation of elected officials. As
Second.
presented in the warrant.
second.
All right. Any further discussion?
Any questions for the new members about Article 3?
It hasn't changed since I was on that board.
the
Friend,
only change that occurs in this is the town clerk's line.
Right, right.
Worker salaries.
okay, all those in favor, Al?
Aye.
Ted,
Aye.
Chuck, I.
Brenda,
Okay.
Actually, I.
that's here,
Kathleen, I.
800.
Will pass against the Article 4, funding of salaries. Are we done to,
This is just the, is Jeannie coming back to discuss the changes to this, to the Article 4?
I believe she will be, right, Mary?
So we'll wait on that.
I think we should.
While you're here, I will draw your attention to the fact that we've got a couple of positions included in here on page 9. You'll notice at the top, of line number 20, town engineer is a proposed new position. On the next page, 10, line number 55, it's a finance operations manager for the council on aging. On page 12, line 101, a grant coordinator position is proposed. And of course, the pay ranges change for each of the positions, as you'll see noted in it.
Grant coordinator goes with, in. Is that associated with the town?
What it's doing is adding that position title to the personnel plan.
Oh, gotcha, thank you.
Finance Operations Manager for the COA,
Did I miss one?
No, you,
that's slide 55. Is that what we've always called that?
No. The COA has asked to reclassify their existing finance manager position because it is now assuming additional expanded responsibilities related to transportation and state reporting and a couple of other things.
It would be helpful on this to kind of show ones that have been deleted as well. So I'm assuming whatever
If they
position
were
that's.
deleted, they would be struck here that this is a new
Yeah.
position.
Oh, this is a new position.
Yes,
This
it is.
isn't somebody that's just their job. What I just heard Mary say is that it was an existing position that has morphed into additional responsibilities.
Which is why it's now created. Right now.
But is it the same, is it always been 8?
no, it was 97.
Okay, so where did it come from? What band?
This was proposed, I think, by Joanne.
Okay,
It's a new position.
okay, so that's not clear. So I would, when Jeannie comes, I'd like to understand that a little bit better.
No
Anybody else have any?
I
Am I the only one confused on that?
It doesn't sound like a new position, it sounds like a position expanded. So your question is, where did it expand?
Where was it before and where's it going? It's an 8 now. Where was it before? That's all.
Well, I would like to understand the non-exempt status to the exempt status as well.
Mhm. And then the other page to take a look at would be page 14, where you'll see under the Schedule B employees, these are hourly positions. Line number 10 is a new position of mental health navigator. And line 21 is traffic guard.
And these
Yeah,
are
you-
new to the actual.
To the
structure,
personnel plan.
To the personnel plan,
Yep.
okay.
Correct. Again, you don't need to vote on them tonight.
And again, this is not, positions that are filled.
Correct.
These are potential positions that may be.
Yep.
Okay.
And the
There's
home
usually a number
delivered,
associated with this article. We don't have a number yet.
Not yet, no.
and so the home delivered meals manager for the COA didn't change. It's not highlighted. So it just went from part-time to full-time.
Yes.
Same thing. Okay, all right. So just give Jeannie a heads up as to what
I will. Yep.
questions that we've got.
5A, you've done that entire thing.
Aren't you happy?
The
All right.
5B, you voted everything. Well.
Yep.
Capital budget, Article 6, fiscal advisory, still working through it.
Page on?
I'm on page 27. So there's no action necessary here for you folks this evening at this point, right?
Well, 5B is
So it is. He's good.
the one
Okay, great.
that includes the,
5B we did.
no, but that includes the 900.
We did not include the
We
nine.
didn't vote on that.
Right, you
No, we
voted- you
did.
voted on all the lines that have
Yeah,
numbers.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that circles back to that 900 will not be carried in A or B or any articles because it's excess levy capacity that is not being appropriated for next year.
It's two separate things.
It's two separate things. It won't be here. You're not gonna find that number here other than in the question. Other than an explanation of the overlay.
In this. 5B, right? In Article 5B, it's consistent contingency of budget, right? It's the last thing on here.
That's not the amount of the motion that will be moved.
Okay,
The amount of.
so what are we gonna vote on?
The amount in 5B is 1.89 million.
Okay,
I think that's
So when
just,
it's presented at town meeting, it will be presented for 1.89 million.
I think that's just for
what
transparency.
we had this whole conversation before about when are we gonna vote on that? So if we're not voting on the nine hundred thousand. We're not gonna vote on the 900,000, you're saying?
Correct.
Okay,
Well, we're gonna vote on it for the amount of the override in its total.
Yes.
It's included in the ballot
That's not-
question.
that's not in Article 5B.
No.
No.
But it will be in the ballot question for the override discreetly. Yeah, that's why we crap the better thing here.
That's what
All
we're,
right, so 6, we're gonna
Wait till we hear from.
wait until we hear Alex has said that after they finish voting that he's going to come to our meeting, so that if you have any questions of where fiscal advisor is coming from, then he's happy to give us that color. We just voted Article 7.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Union contracts, we haven't got a number,
Have you
but
settled it?
everybody's working hard to give us one.
We're close.
Close, good. Electronic balloting, raise and appropriate transfer sum of money. We don't have a number on that.
20,000.
20?
Mhm.
So can I have a motion for Article 9?
Move to approve Article 9, electronic balloting as presented in the warrant.
Second,
Any further questions? Al,
Aye.
Ted,
Aye.
Chuck,
Brenda,
Mark,
Ashley, I.
Betsy, aye.
Kathleen, aye.
Okay, 800. Duxbury Beach lease.
$1 million.
What?
Million.
$1
Oh,
million.
okay. I thought you said, no, you don't. I was like, what? Good now? All right, $1 million, they're keeping it the same
Yes.
and the select board has not voted this?
They just got this
They
tonight,
just
same
got
like
it.
you.
Okay,
Move to approve Article 10, Duxbury Beach lease as presented in the warrant.
second,
Al,
Aye.
Teddy,
Yep.
Chuck,
Brenda,
Mark,
Ashley, I.
that's here,
Kathleen, aye.
800, okay. Article 11, educational cable access and technology.
And indefinitely postponed.
I love those. Shall we vote to indefinitely postpone that or just,
Well, at this point, we can actually take it off the warrant. Then I can
Yeah,
do
just
it.
take it off.
can you just take it off? So
Well,
we're not gonna indefinitely postpone, it's
we are
probably gonna
not.
get deleted,
We're not.
okay? Delete. So we don't have to vote that, great. 4th of July celebration. Town will raise and appropriate, is it 25 grand?
It is.
So,
Yes, 25.
So 25? Yeah, 25.
so, we're gonna vote this as Article 12, which is probably gonna become
Don't
Article,
worry about it. Just vote it right as you see it here.
okay, so you're okay with that?
Move to approve Article 12, 4th of July celebration as presented in the warrant.
second,
All right, Al,
Aye.
Teddy,
Aye.
Chuck,
Brenda,
Mark,
Mark,
Ashley, I.
Betsy, I.
Kathleen, aye.
Okay, 800. 13, Alden School feasibility study. Okay,
I'm not, I'm going back to a little bit of the mechanics. So we have question 2,
Mhm.
right? And this is the actual.
Yeah.
So what is the vote?
2 allows us to put it on the ballot.
This. 13, 2 allows us to put it on the ballot. Article 13.
It'll be moot if this fails at town meeting, if this article fails at town meeting, then that ballot question will be moved, correct?
No,
Not correct.
yeah, yes, but the purpose of this article is to appropriate the funding. To give the town the authority to actually spend the funds. That's what these town meeting articles are, is the approval to appropriate the funding. The ballot question in this particular case is a debt exclusion question. So it is asking for the approval to exceed the limitations of Prop 2.5 in order to do borrow. If you don't If town meeting does not pass Article 13, that means they don't agree to spend the money. So the ballot question becomes moot. But it will still be on the ballot.
So just a timing thing with the mechanics, we have to be prepared for either eventuality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. We're just airing a
If you
spare.
didn't have this article and it passed at the ballot, couldn't spend the money because it's not appropriate by town meeting. Throw the cart before the horse, but technically you have to do it.
Okay.
Some communities, their election is before their town meeting, and so they know whether it passes on ballot before they actually pick it up at town meeting.
It just seems odd to me.
Why is that? Because you guys have done this several times.
I don't know, maybe it's just the moment.
Okay, so it's a debt exclusion like the DPW facility or the.
I don't know why I'm getting hung up on it, I
Yeah.
just don't know why, I'm not sure
So
either.
this is for $1,750,000.
Okay, move to approve.
And wait. Does this article delineate how those funds will be raised? Does this article delineate that the monies would only come from the debt exclusion?
So the
The motion.
motion will, but remember that there are actually 3 funding sources for this.
Yep,
200,000 would be coming from the schools for building use revolving fund. 100,000 would be coming from repurposing of, previously authorized articles that have a remaining balance. And 1.45 million would be a borrowing, a debt excluded borrowing.
But is it debt excluded borrow?
what's the 100,000 coming from? What are we closing out? Is it a school, a number?
It's a school article. It was for, it was either school safety or the school PA system. I have to go back and look. But
So, but it is a school, it was a school purpose.
one of the projects came in under budget, and so it was a school purpose, and so we are utilizing those funds.
But the purpose wasn't close enough to this that it could just be used.
Correct.
Okay,
Mary, the 1.45 debt raise, is that 5-year term? Like, how long is the term on that?
So that's not,
Obviously, you go to the market and figure it out, but
so it's a 2-pronged answer.
Yep.
Feasibility studies generally can only be borrowed for up to a maximum term of 5 years. Unless the town then proceeds with a full construction project. And if you do proceed with a full construction project, then you can roll in the cost of the feasibility study over the remaining term of that construction project. However, if the town approves the feasibility study and does not proceed with a construction project, then you are still limited to that 5-year window. However, in this particular case, we are assuming a 5-year window because it's a feasibility study, but it is eligible for MSBA reimbursement of about 38%, give or take. So we need to complete the feasibility study and submit it to MSBA to get the reimbursement so that we know what the net proceeds are that we need to finance, which is going to be much less than the 1.45. So when you think about that, we're now 2 years into the feasibility study and that 5-year window. So if at the time that we finish the feasibility study, we submit it for reimbursement, we know what the par amount is that needs to be financed. Then it becomes critical on whether the town decides whether they want to proceed with a construction project or not. Because during the first 2 years, we will have issued temporary notes and only paid interest. We will not have paid principal, which now means that we're going to pay back the financing over a 3-year window instead of a 5-year window.
right.
so, no, I
It's
get
not a
it. So
simple answer.
let's just assume $1 million net to the town paid over 3 years, and the average house is looking at $100.
Less than that. Yeah,
Good.
the estimate right now, and I'm waiting for, I guess I'm maybe reluctant when I quote a number, but I guess I'll be held.
In for a penny and for
Everybody
a
else
pound.
will.
Yeah,
The estimate right now, if that feasibility study does get approved, And, it's over a 3-year window. The estimate is, the net borrowing that we're anticipating, that we're basing this off of, is 785,000. So that would be net of the reimbursement. We would finance 785 over a 3-year window. The estimated impact of that on the average single family tax bill is $52 a year. 52.
And just for the actual vote we're doing right now, are we saying we agree to this? Or are we saying we just agree to the language that's gonna go on?
We're agreeing to put it on the ballot or on the warrant.
On the warrant.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are agreeing that we are agreeing that we should do this. So we're not just agreeing to the mechanics. We're
You're agreeing to the
rendering an
concept,
opinion from the
yes.
finance committee as whether
That's
you think this is a good idea or not. Right? So when we go back to the ballot question, then that's different. That, that just is language for the ballot question. But this is, do you think it's a good idea to do the feasibility study or not, regardless of how it's spent? Tricky, I know, hard.
Well, it's one of those questions, however, that I think deserves to be before town meeting.
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess if we vote against it or not, it still will be a town meeting, so
Yeah.
that doesn't matter.
no, it did.
So you have to sort of decide whether you think it's worth doing or not.
Do we want to think about it a little bit more before we vote it?
Right,
Yeah,
Too.
no, I mean, I think that we either think we've heard from the schools. We've heard from Katie. Right? Either you want to invest this amount of money into figuring out whether that building is worth saving, tearing down, moving across town, whatever you want to do. I do think, and I am persuaded, that it's not something we can ignore. The buildings, it was a mess when Teddy and I were on the board a million years ago. I just don't know quite what we can do. I'm concerned about the exempt debt. If we because this is the first step into spending $100 million, and I'm making up a number. This is not a number that's
It's a big investment.
based in fact, but that would then take our exempt debt and bring the totals that we're asking the town to support over our guidelines for a few years. We've done it before. We did the high school. But we have to understand that until we retire the debt in 38, if we take on the debt of rebuilding it and it's a new building, then it is going to push our exempt debt above what we recommend is a reasonable amount for the taxpayers to carry. It's hard. It's really hard. The building is old. There's some serious issues. I struggle with the fact that we really haven't had an internal look at, well, what would it take to make the building last another 10 years so that we could then introduce this debt when we're retiring the debt for the high school. But that isn't the way that it went. So
I thank you, Betsy, for saying that, because that's the conundrum we're in. We don't
Yeah.
have sufficient information on this, and I will tell you frankly, my gut wants to resist it, but I'm thinking it would be unwise, so I'm going to support it.
Okay.
I feel like it's a big number, and this is as much as we've talked about in the last 5 months.
Yeah,
well, it was talked about
A little bit.
when they were here. Was Katie that was talking about?
Katie's talked about it and Danielle's
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah.
But they're talking about it from the sense of, hey, the state's offering us a deal. And if we don't act on it now, we're out of line. And once you get out of line, you got to start at the end of the line. And the building is in sufficient disrepair that starting at the end of the line is.
Oh, it's a
not-
feasibility study. It's not.
Right, it doesn't
It's not a
buy us a
construction
quarter
permit.
paint, which
Yeah.
makes me nuts.
Well, and the fact of the matter, you know, what's, I think compelling is that as we look at what we're spending in just maintaining that building, right? The expense of maintaining the roofs that are leaking and the bathrooms and just the infrastructure of the HVAC, right? How does that line up against, the efficacy of doing, you know, the feasibility study, right? You know, it's kind of like we're paying a lot of money out.
How many years ago did we vote to put money to that building to get us down the road a little bit further? It was
Teddy and I did it,
how much was that and how long ago
4
was that?
million, right,
much?
Ted?
Yes,
4 million sound right to you?
And how many years ago was that?
20,
about
25?
100.
No, 100 years ago, we put in $4 million to get us here, right?
Was it Fisher College back then?
Yeah, money well spent, yeah. Well, I was a student as well as a board member, so that was, yeah.
Mhm.
But it was probably 20 years ago, Teddy? Something
Yes.
like that?
So we've known this problem.
Because we
Longer.
retired the debt. Was it a
Longer.
20, Mary? The Alden money? Because we just retired that debt.
No, I don't know. I have to look it up.
Yeah, but we retired the debt like in the last year or like within the last 18 months. Because I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't believe that, you know, blah, blah, blah. But so it's at least 20 years. And that was 4 million back then. So,
The only not issue I have with this is so much focus on the override number, 1.8, 1.9 million. And then 20 pages later, we're asking for another 1.75.
It's also on the ballot in the very front.
right.
It's not cheating us.
Move to approve Article 13, Alden School feasibility study as presented in the warrant.
Second,
Oh God, this is hard. Al,
Aye.
Teddy,
Aye.
Chuck, I,
Brendan, aye.
Okay.
Ashley, I.
$52, really?
It's
That's just for the
For the- just for
feasibility
the
study,
feasibility.
not, has nothing to do.
I
But
absolutely,
we still will know,
Which is a
we'll know,
separate- which
we'll
is a
know if we
separate
want
vote.
to do it after that.
but are we willing to spend $52 a year to actually find out what the hell is wrong with that building and what we would have to do to make it repaired, right?
Right.
What, Mary, you're laughing at me.
No, no,
So even
God, no,
if, even
not
if
at
you
all.
don't, even if you don't do the rebuild from the quote unquote big huge number. I won't quote a number, so it won't be quoted. You'll have a blueprint to know what you have to fix. What do you have to address first? You can go down and create a little list of, okay, what can we knock off first?
I said,
Try to prolong the life of the building.
one of
It would be a
the,
useful tool to have,
it would be.
albeit expensive.
One of the things that has driven me insane is that we spent 200,000 to do a feasibility study for the high school, middle school. And that was what, in '09. And 15 years later, it's 2 million.
It's almost 20 years.
And-
Why is that surprising?
What,
The cost of everything has gone up quite a bit.
2
20 years
million,
ago.
200,000 to 2 million? And I was,
It's in a 17-year.
is it, yeah, well, you know, I still think the 90s was yesterday, so. I mean, what I would, if I'm going to vote to support this, I would like to know the criteria, what has to be included in this before we get to town meeting. And we have never gotten a list of what this will actually provide.
I live in 10.
Is that an extension?
Huh?
Is that an
Yeah.
extension?
I gotta put kids to bed.
No,
What
no,
do you ask?
mine, that's not me. Huh?
What are you asking for? You're asking for what's the content?
No, this
of
is
the
something
feasibility?
I can get on my own.
Feasibility studies, it says right here what you're gonna get out of it. You know,
Yeah,
it gives you
exactly.
All the
And-
criteria,
and-
which he's talking about, it gives you a timeline, it gives you, what the construction would be, what renovations would be needed to the addition to the existing building.
Right.
It gives you everything you're talking about.
All right, Betsy, aye.
Kathleen, I,
Okay.
and I'm just looking at the time, Madam Chair.
It's only 8:15. We have another 15 minutes at least.
I got 5 minutes.
You got five?
Was that an 8-0 vote?
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Yes. Hey, this is that implications that go beyond,
Yes, it does.
so, yeah.
Yes, it does.
Grant utility easements on town property for the purpose of serving the new DPW facility. Can I have a motion on this?
Move to approve Article 48 grant utility easements on town property for the purpose of serving the new DPW facility as presented in the warrant.
Second.
Teddy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Chuck, I,
Brenda,
Okay,
Actually, I,
Betsy,
Jeffrey, no.
you guys already do that?
800, that's
I'm pretty sure it's up and running.
what?
I'm pretty sure they got utilities to it now, no?
They do, but we need to perfect some of the easements that are serving.
It's every now.
Dog licenses, Article
Excuse me.
15.
Betsy,
why do we vote on some of these non-financial things?
What is it?
Why do we vote on some of these
Because it's our job to vote on every article.
every article,
Yep.
even if they're non-financial?
Yep.
Correct.
I don't know anything about deeds.
Maybe I didn't tell you that when I asked you to be on the board.
actually, you were brought up with the dog license.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. That, my
I get the
bad,
financial ones, but like the non-financial?
I'm bad. Okay, dog license fees.
Move to approve Article 15 dog license fees as presented in the warrant.
second.
All right. Teddy? Oh Christ, he's muted
Aye.
again. Al?
Aye.
Chuck,
Okay.
I,
Brenda,
Mark, I.
Actually, I,
Betsy, aye.
Jeffrey, no.
Proposed amendment to the general bylaws, animal control. Is this gonna be a conversation here?
What it's
I don't know
gonna do
what it
is it's gonna allow the board to set the fees instead of, to do it the way they normally set fees, because right now they're fixed in the general bylaws, which takes an act of town meeting to change it, but this gives the board greater flexibility in changing the fees.
Okay,
this
No.
No.
flexibility.
No,
because right
wait,
there, come on,
everybody's
like,
saying
an
no.
annual
The
basis.
explanation, eliminate the fixed fine amounts listed in the animal control bylaws. And then fines for violations could be set by the select
Are you
board,
on 15 or 16?
16.
16.
They just voted 15.
Oh,
This is
And then-
60.
my bad.
And then also it deals with Ollie's Law, which clarifies existing kennel license requirements, requiring kennels to report injuries to the town, establishing enforcement protocols for the town, and allows the state to provide assistance if necessary.
I'll ask you later who Ollie was.
Has there been a discussion to do this with more fees, so it doesn't become a very cumbersome process?
Most of the
Yeah,
fees
there's
are
not many.
outside of the general bylaw
Okay.
already.
Okay. Then a motion for
Move to
general,
approve Article 16 proposed amendment to the general bylaws, section 7.1 animal control as presented in the warrant.
Second.
Teddy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Chuck, I,
Brenda,
actually, I,
Betsy, aye.
Kathleen,
And then if you could skip 17 and 18, they may be removed.
that would be a nice thing.
Sure.
Okay. Article 19 is the proposed amendment to the general bylaws, which is the dissolution of the beach committee.
This is the beach committee.
Pardon?
Where's the beach committee?
There you go.
There's nobody anymore.
Gotcha.
All their memberships have expired and they no longer serve the purpose that was once necessary. Since we've got the addition of professional staff on board. And we also have a third-party engineering firm handling the requisite repairs to the fire department.
Thank you. Move to approve Article 19 proposed amendment to the general bylaws, section 6.6 dissolution of the beach committee.
second.
Teddy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Chuck, I,
Brenda,
Okay,
actually, I,
Betsy, aye.
Kathleen, I.
I'm gonna skip on that last season one.
I'm sorry. Yep.
I have to go to.
Nope.
Okay. Is that-
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
so long, Mark.
Have a good night.
Yeah. How many articles are there?
35.
35?
well, the last 10 are all CPC.
Yes.
So we're gonna wait till we have her anyway, so that's good. So why don't we take a break? We're here. We've got more done than I thought we were gonna get done tonight, the way
That's
we
awesome.
started out, so that's good. I think that, yeah,
You're 1/3 of the way there?
1/3 of the way there. And
Better than,
And I think the most important conversation is for us to kind of come up with a reasonable explanation on the override so that people can understand the purpose of the excess funds, excess levy capacity and its use and implementation.
I'm a little unclear when you say we, what? is
We
that-
as a community, we as a people that have to do with the finance, we as the general public.
Okay, thank you. I just want to
We
make
have
sure.
people that are sitting up front facing the audience.
We,
Collective we.
if we're asked to
Well,
explain it.
it's more than just the collective we, it's the select board, it's the.
They're all sitting up front facing the audience.
All I
It's,
care about
it's all about a founding principle that we've discussed before. It's called common weal. And if we go back to the roots of this particular town and this community, you will find it embedded because that's how the founders survived and prospered. And actually, that's how we do the same if we go back to that simple idea.
There you go. And before we go down Pilgrim Lane, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Okay, thank you.